Good morning, everybody. It's Lynn, the Leather Bag Lady. How are you all today? It is Wednesday today, and it is dang cold in here. My hands are freezing, but I am not turning the heat up for a couple of reasons. But we'll have story time after today's bag. So this is a bag I got recently, and I love it. I love all my bags. Otherwise, I wouldn't buy them. That's kind of People tell me this all the time that I don't shout out enough about the eco-friendliness of buying pre-loved, and two, I don't shout out enough about how each and every one of my bags are hand-picked, and I refurbish them, I clean them, I sanitize them individually. I don't buy lots of bags. I don't buy somebody's whatever bags of thrift stuff. Every bag is handpicked, and I don't always buy what I like. I learned a lesson a few years ago. My girlfriend wanted round-toed shoes, and I would only buy a pointy toe. And I thought, you know what? I can't just buy what I like. But most of what I buy speaks to me in some way, either the color or the leather quality or both. And this bag has both. This is today's bag. It is an early 2000s Fossil shoulder bag. It is absolutely beautiful. If I didn't carry so much crap, this bag would not be listed, because it is a short shoulder, which is my go-to because I like it hooked under my arm, and the short shoulder bags are trending right now. And this little bag is little, but it actually has quite a bit of space. So let's unpack it. It has a back pocket, which the pocket is probably a phone pouch, but it is very much in keeping with those early iPhones. You certainly wouldn't be able to get my S21, whatever it is, Samsung in there. This probably is big enough, but this isn't. So again, most of the time that's how I date my bags. There is a beautiful buckle, little bit of dulling of the metal on this. The Fossil lock or Fossil key does have an antiqued finish to it. Little Fossil button there. The leather is just beautiful. The base is bigger than the top, and it doesn't have necessarily a designate. Well, I guess it kind of does. This little seam here gives it a bit of a gusset. And then you open it up. It's a magnetic closure. You've got your Fossil fabric. There's your Fossil tag. There is a zipper component or compartment. And then there is another slip pouch. Again, not close to fitting my Samsung phone. So that's, again, how I date my bags. This bag is absolutely beautiful. There is a little bit of darkening on the strap. The glazing is in good shape. I hate glazing. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Do you know how I feel about glazing? I hate it. There is a little mark. Oh, it looks like there's another little mark here too. You know what? I'm going to do a little bit of work on this guy. There is one little dark blemish here, and I did notice another one here, but I am confident I can get those out. And these little vintage Fossils I don't come across them very often, and I certainly don't come across them in this color. So that's 2 red bags in a row. Go figure. But this is just beautiful. So what happened with this is I've packed all the bags away because tomorrow is D-Day. I just had the gentleman on the phone this morning confirming their arrival tomorrow between 8:30 and 9. And we tried to pull this down last night, and unfortunately, it's just going to rip. So it's not something we can save. We thought about individually taking out every staple, and we looked at each other, and I said, Pius, we already have 2 extra tarps. Only 3 of the rooms in this house are tarped anyway. I said, so we have to go and buy another $10 tarp. What are we going to waste hours of our time? So it's working smarter, not harder. And I'm going to talk to you about that again in a bit. If I remember, because you know what happens, I go off on a tangent and then that's the end of it. So we are getting ready. I've got another cold sore on the way. I was just talking to Pius this morning about how interesting it is. Like, I know I feel stressed, but I don't feel stressed enough that I had the worst night's sleep last night. I could not get to sleep to start with. The hot flashes, I had maybe 2 or 3 hot flashes all weekend last weekend. I've had 2 this morning. So how our bodies unconsciously show us what's going on. And I guess I'm kind of lucky that I do know through those. Cold sores come to me. I've had cold sores my whole life, but only in times of stress. So I only just got rid of the 2 at once I had a few days ago. And now here I am getting another one, and this one's going to be a doozy. It's right in the middle here. I can feel it already. So it is what it is. I have to get ready for my show tomorrow. I'm at Caroline Place, downtown Hamilton. If anybody's local and wants to come and see what I got, love to meet you. And that will get me out of the house. We talked about that yesterday. Probably best that I'm not here. And we're just moving along, and I've already sorted out my coffee table. That's going on the truck. The dining, our little bistro table is going on the truck today. All these things I can do by myself. Pius was hurting a little bit last night. So, just his regular level of hurt. So I will do a lot of it. Gets frustrated with me, but I'm like, dude, I lived on my own for 16 years before I met you. I've had relationships, but I never live with anybody. So, somebody from Illinois is calling me. I don't think so. Pius is a member of a vacation club, which I think if he had to do it again, he would not pay all that money for this vacation club. That really, if you're traveling with multiple families or multiple friends, it would be a good economy situation. But just for us to travel by ourselves, it's way cheaper just to get Sunwing or Transat or whatever. Like I said, I do not think he would do it again. So we constantly get calls from this company wanting us to upgrade, because I guess the level of membership Pius bought was the basic. There will be no upgrade at all. So that's been quite a financial commitment for him and continues to be. But we are working smarter, not harder. So yesterday, I decided that instead of constantly talking about all this stuff that I want to do, and now that I have given my notice with my clients, I have to get on board with some of the things I've been talking about for a year or so and actually do them. Because although I don't make a lot of money with my clients, it is regular money every 2 weeks that I can rely on. And I am not going to have that anymore. And I can tell you more often than not, it's gotten me out of the shit a little bit. If I've forgotten about my, insurance or whatever, I just got a letter from the bank yesterday to say that my property tax has gone up yet again. So not only has it gone up for next year, but there has been a shortfall already for what I've already paid. Last year it was over $400 shortfall. This year it was just under $100, but it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I know I have many people in my life who do not have the privilege, although I don't talk kindly about my little shack very often, but they don't have the privilege of living in a house that literally, I mean, Pius's truck payment is more than my mortgage. But I was dealing with it all by myself, and I didn't have any help, and the house is constantly needing repair. So between that, I just never, I think about it often how I would be feeling if I was still on my own, getting these things in the mail, constantly increasing my mortgage, increasing my property taxes. And I don't know, I think I would be feeling very nervous. But chances are, if I hadn't met Pius, I wouldn't be here anymore. So who knows what would have happened. But I decided that I was going to reach out to a women's entrepreneurs group that I'm a member of on Facebook. And I was going to ask if somebody could, I'm looking for a mentor or a business coach, someone who can actually take my ideas and help me put it into practice. Because I have ideas for days, but just getting over that hump to get it actually going. And it's a mixture between not streamlining my ideas, and that comes into working smarter, not harder. My online presence feels very choppy. It feels very unorganized. It doesn't feel very streamlined. But I do have a little routine every day, and it works for me, and I do it like clockwork. I list my bag. I do the Instagram reel from the bag I listed the day before. So I don't put that bag away after I've done my YouTube video. I leave it out as a reminder that I need to do my reel for that bag. And then I do today's video for today's bag, which I will leave out to do my reel tomorrow. So that is a very set in stone routine that I have. So I want to be able to create a routine like that for my .com. And I'm just not, I've tried a bunch of different things, doing some Facebook videos, and I'm not sure that I'm working smarter instead of harder. So what I've decided to do is stick with the footprint that I know. Retirement, long-term care, predominantly retirement. That's where I used to do shows prior to COVID. When COVID hit, obviously that was one of the first things that got shut down. So I pivoted to Etsy. And I was lucky enough that I had enough vintage bags in my stock that I could start listing on Etsy. Because the deal with Etsy, if you are not familiar with Etsy, is it has to either be handcrafted or vintage. And vintage is over 20 years old, which is why when I get a bag, first thing I look at is the phone pouch. Because I have no receipt. I have no way of dating that bag, specifically. I've gotten really good at looking at styles, looking at the material used for the interior, looking at the leather quality, because most of the bags vintage, definitely prior to 1980, I would say, aren't branded. The 1970s bags, a lot of them aren't branded. So, and that's part of the allure, I think, for vintage. And my vintage marketplace is a lot younger than my .com marketplace. My .com marketplace want the brands. They want to be carrying something identifiable. And my .com market is probably 45 to 65. So you've got kind of the Gen Xers, who, I don't know, it just, in my circles, I have some friends who couldn't give a crap about a brand, and then I have other people who care about brands because they feel that it will be better quality, which is not always true. But vintage, like Vintage Roots, Vintage Fossil, like the bag I just showed you, vintage Danier, absolutely the quality is there. The new stuff, I wouldn't touch it. So this is all part of what I now feel I need to get cracking with, because saying it isn't going to put pennies in my bank account. So, and I don't want to start relying on Pius any more than I already do. That's not where I come from. It's not how I was raised. And I'm not going to start doing that now just because I have this wonderful man in my life who really doesn't care, but I think he appreciates the fact that I'm probably the only woman he's ever been with that hasn't wanted his money. And, we go out socially and Pius pays for everything. And I appreciate that. But in my mind, those are things we don't have to do. We have to pay the gas. We have to pay the water. We have to be able to run the washing machine and all those things. I make sure I pay my share of, but I would be quite happy just to sit in here and, I'm a bit of a TV junkie. So, and I mean, we have shows that we watch. We're watching, Reacher right now. Very different from Ray Donovan. It was put on a list of shows to watch after Ray Donovan. I wouldn't say it's even in the same ballpark, but it's actually quite funny. I don't know if it's supposed to be funny, but it's actually quite funny. So getting back to my working smarter, not harder. So I put a request out on this Fempreneurs, I think it's called, website or Facebook group. And I had, tens and 20s and 30s of people wanting to connect with me. And the one lady, I'm sure she's wonderful and I'm sure she does a great job, but $3,000 for 6 months worth of coaching? I don't get that. I don't get that. I do believe that people are worth their salt. I do. But when you're dealing with small cottage businesses, one person businesses, and I guess maybe I'm not having the right attitude. Maybe I should say, well, I'm going to spend $3,000 to make whatever. And maybe back in the day I would have felt that way, but I'm in a different place right now. I'm going to be 56 in 4 months, 5 months. I'm now married. I've got a completely different life than I had or ever thought I would have. So I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel as far as the leather bag lady is concerned. Like I said, I want to have a kind of set routine every day that I can complete by the time Pius gets home, and it can generate me whatever income it generates. I go to a show with my bags and maybe one person stops by my table, maybe 35 people stop by my table. I have no control over that, and I am limited to whoever is in the building. So, not that I'm not going to do that anymore, but instead of being able to reach one person at a time, one facility at a time, I want to try and create an kind of a virtual space where I can hit all kinds of places at one time. And it's just getting that process put in place. And most importantly, the first connect. Because without the excitement, enthusiasm of that first person, it's not going to go farther than their inbox. Because if they're not excited about it, then why are they going to share it with their colleagues? And it's not necessarily now going to be a connecting with the seniors, which I will miss because I'm a recreational therapist. That's what I went to school for. And I love dealing with seniors. They are the most fun group. And that will go away without doing the shows. But it's more the staff now. And I do have a lot of staff purchases, probably more so than the retirees, because the footprint of retirement has changed. And we've talked about this before, but not for quite a while. So it's worth repeating. And it's going to be a long one today again, guys. But oh well, that seems to be how the Leather Bag Lady YouTube channel is going. My experience, this is all my experience as a 7, 8 year recreational therapist working within a retirement home to a 10-year small business owner selling in retirement homes and long-term care homes. But I don't do a lot of long-term care just because it doesn't make sense. Those folks are not in a place where they are where it is ethical. I feel anyway. Again, my opinion, my experience. I mean, I'm in the industry, so I am hyper vigilant with people who come to my table who are purchasing things that they don't need, I mean, let's face it, who needs another bag? Probably none of us. But if you love purses, then you want something that's, refreshing your look, a little bit of a treat. And that's why I think what I do is so important, because rather than spend $200 on that fossil bag, what's it going to be? I think I've listed it at 85, which is still a little bit of money. Now, please know that 85 is not coming to me. That 85 includes shipping. It includes the purchase price of the bag that I paid. It includes all my shipping materials. It includes the fees for Etsy. So out of that $85, I may get 30, 35. So this is another reason why I'm looking at my .com, because there's less fees. And these bags are getting harder to find, and they're getting way more expensive to buy. So, I mean, you're almost going thrifting, hoping that somebody in the back didn't know what they had. And that's where it's getting to, because there's so many people doing it. And, these thrift stores, Value Village specifically, they're educated. They have hired people to put guidelines down for vinyl, for CDs, for leather goods, baseball hats, like all these things that resellers tend to gravitate towards. So I'm hoping that I can find someone who will be reasonably priced. I'm willing to throw some money at it, whereas before I wasn't, just because I am in a bit of a different place and I need to shit or get off the pot. Saying it seems to not matter for me. I actually have to do it. And I had this idea about 1.5 years ago, and then I ran around the block with all kinds of different ideas, and now I'm back to this idea because it's stick with what you know. I know the retirement footprint. I know that the majority of staff are women, my customers, and in that age group too. So moving forward, I'm looking at connecting with the administrator more so than the recreational therapist, who usually is in her 20s and really, for the most part, doesn't connect with the stock that I carry. Possibly the vintage. So it may be that I'm going to transition some of my vintage stock to my .com. Again, less fees. It's just, and I need to move over to the Stallion Express. I did a little bit of research on it this morning, and I shipped a package to New York yesterday. And if I had used ShipStallion, so it was $25 to ship this pack. It was a Tilly bag. It was heavy. It cost me $25 to ship it to New York. If I'd used ShipStallion, it would have been $12. And the young man at my postal outlet has been telling me that for years. And I'm intimidated by the printer, the thermal, connecting it to my phone or my computer, whatever. And I need to get over that, because that is just the way forward for me. I don't want to be working night and day. I don't have that lifestyle anymore. I'm very grateful, but I do still want to be in my passion, because it is my passion. And I don't want it to get so big that it's no longer fun. So you want to find that sweet spot where, some months I sell 7 bags on Etsy. Some months I sell 15, 16 bags on Etsy. COVID, I was selling 30 plus bags on Etsy. So it was all very much a learning curve. So that's what we're doing. I've got a call with a lady today at 2:30, a little younger than me. So hoping that we can connect there, just because sometimes that age gap is more of a technology gap, but I'm willing to learn. I'm ready to get that done, even if they just help me put together the introductory email, or maybe email isn't a good idea. I don't know. This is what I need help with. I don't know the latest um methods and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, let's face it, until 3 years ago, I didn't even have an online footprint. I mean, I had Facebook, that was it. But Instagram, no way. YouTube, hell no. So, this is all very new to me. So, that is what's happening today, as well as moving more stuff. Oh, I haven't made the bed. I better go make Pious ex-military makes his bed every morning, but now it's not him making the bed every morning, it's me. And some mornings I get up and I forget, like this morning. So that is about it for today. Oh, nail update. I have found Dollar Tree had a box of clear nail tip, like forms. The issue with, I mean, these are still on here. These were not clear. These were this lavender color. But so the UV light, these were very transparent. So the polygel did harden, but anything with a deep color, the polygel doesn't harden. So I found these clear nail forms. They are a little thicker than I would like, but they harden well and they're a really nice shape. Now I did this one and it's a little too skinny for me, so I didn't use a big enough form. Nail update, I'm still working on it, but I'm doing better. These have been on for, without this one and this one, these have been on for weeks. So not typical for me at all. And I mean, I'm not scrubbing floors or anything much, but I do, unpacking and scrubbing bags and all the rest of it. So I think this is the longest video I've ever done. So Pious Baby Cakes, if you're watching it in the truck, you better be having a bit of a journey to finish watching this. Nora, if you're still watching, I love you, girl. Bye, everybody. I probably won't talk to you till next week now. Wish me luck with the ceilings. Bye, everybody.